right.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on, just 1 second, 1 second.
Can't hold on. I've already went live. No holding back now.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right, got it.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is day 3 of Longevity Week on Chef AJ Live, where I introduce you to long-term vegans who've been vegan a really long time, but who are aging gracefully. And we're trying to find out what their secrets are. So on Monday, we had a 72-year-old, on Tuesday, a 75-year-old, and today we have a 78-year-old. And hey, they're going to be getting older, just so you know. And her name is Linda Middlesworth, and she is a long-term vegan, an ethical vegan, a healthy vegan. She is just a wonderful person, a PCRM cooking instructor. She owns a wonderful vegan company called VDog, and she's not only going to tell you her secrets to aging flawlessly at 78, but also do a recipe, which is one of the recipes that she enjoys. Please welcome Linda to the show. Linda, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Chef AJ. I love being here. I just want to...
I've known you 10 years and literally you're getting better looking. I'm not just saying that because you're my friend, you are. So tell me what the secret is, especially the last 10 years. I mean, you look better at 78 than you did when I met you at 68. How do you do it?
Hear it?
Barely.
Can you hear it, baby?
Not really. It's hard to hear from the
it's
phone.
some old music for old people.
Okay. And you know, you're an aerobic. I forgot to say you're an aerobics instructor. Are you?
Yeah, I'm an aerobic instructor, and that keeps me healthy, happy. Yeah.
How long have you been teaching aerobics, and how many classes are you teaching a week?
Maybe 34 years. No, wait, let's see. That gym is about 23 years, and the gym before that, about almost 30 years. Almost 30 years.
Do you think that in addition to your vegan diet, the fact that you have exercised so much for so long has contributed to you looking and feeling your best as you age?
Yes, it has. But I have to tell you, when I got really fat and sick, I was an aerobics instructor teaching 25 classes a week. And I'm talking high end, from kickboxing to step to body sculpting, you know, all that. And I was overweight and sick. Because it's the food, baby. You have to change the food. But I thought, you know, eating a little chicken and fish and some yogurt and pineapple, I had the healthy diet, right? So I found out the hard way, and I'll go through that when I go through with my slides. But yeah, no, I think that really did help me be stronger even today, because I kept my strength up. I don't know if you can see that muscle, but I'm strong, baby.
I know.
And that's because of all the exercise I do and have done and still doing.
You look amazing. And you're also, not in addition to being an obesity survivor, you're a cancer survivor.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go through that with my slides. Shall I go through my slides?
Yeah, why don't you? I'd love to hear from fat and sick to feeling great at 78.
Okay. Let me see if I can share screen here.
And by the way, a lot of people ask me where I get my tops from. Linda Middlesworth. A lot of them. This one from Linda, the earrings.
A big screen, Jim.
Yeah, just put it in slideshow view if you can, so we don't see all the.
Is that it?
That is perfect,
Yeah.
Linda.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I switch? Oh, I know. I switch here. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I want to start off first with I think it's ironic that Donald Watson started the word vegan, or coined the word vegan, the year I was born. Don't you think that's an omen for me? I think so. I mean, I can't believe 1944, he decided that there was too much harm to animals when they were vegetarians because they were eating eggs and dairy. So he put the first 3 letters of vegetarian and the last 2 together and made the word vegan. Don't be afraid of the word vegan. It just means do no harm to as many animals or people or any sentient being that you can. That's all it means. It doesn't even mean food. But anyway, I think it's so ironic that he started my journey in 1944. So my story is, I was a fat aerobic instructor for almost 30 years. And I couldn't figure it out. I didn't get fat right away, but as I aged, I started to get heavier and heavier. I gained over 50 pounds. And then I got cancer. And then I got heart disease, terrible heart disease. I had 358 total cholesterol and high blood pressure, pre-diabetes. And then my next door neighbor, when we moved into a new neighborhood in Sacramento, she told me as we were walking our dogs around the park, you know, Linda, just get a hold of Dr. John McDougall. You can get rid of all that. I said, who? Anyway, so what happened is I found Dr. John McDougall. I didn't even meet the man. All I did was pick up his book he had at that time, of something like the 12-day program or something like that. I read that book from cover to cover, and then I reread it. And I said, oh my goodness, he's showing people here who had cancer like me, who had heart disease, who had obesity, and all kinds of other things. And they got well once they changed their diet to a plant exclusive diet like he recommended. And I thought, oh, this is for me. I'm going to do it. Of course, then 1 week later, she said, you know what happens to dairy cows, don't you? And I said, no, what? And I said, cheese. Oh, I love cheese, I said. And I found out later how addictive that is. But he said, told me all about that, which I'm not going to tell you right now because it's very painful to even know about. But that did it. I became an animal rights activist on the spot, which I think is also part of who I am. And that's why I feel so good about myself, because I'm fighting so hard to help liberate animals. And I do it in so many different ways. I can't tell you. So, but this is Dr. John McDougall, who really saved my life. If I hadn't found him, I think I would have been dead at least 30 years ago. My own father died of a heart attack in the kitchen after the Sunday roast beef dinner. Right there in the kitchen, we were the only two there. And now I know why he died, but I didn't know at the time. So I started reading the Starch solution later, and I became certified as a Starch solution teacher or coach or something. And I start using that with my own clients now. And then the book that really got me for the animals was Peter Singer. He wrote Animal Liberation. And he said, you know, it's not even whether we eat animals or meat or not. It's whether they suffer. Think about that. Vegan doesn't mean diet. It means we don't want anybody to suffer. Not humans either, not just animals. And then I read John Robbins' Food Revolution, and that did it. I just started using the recipes. His son Ocean does it now with him. Fabulous book. And then I started the Sacramento Vegan Society. That was in 2008. And now have over 5,000 people in there. And I'd say they're not all vegan, but they're trying. They're trying to do it. And they're trying to be plant-based. And some of them even join my 30-day program. But then I do the Sacramento Vegan Society. I go to festivals. I go all over with that. And then I started my own company, Vegan Mentor, which meant I could help other people. So I started the 30-day Vegan Health Watch program, which is really me monitoring your food to help you lose the weight if you need it, or just feel great and get on a plant exclusive diet without oil and hopefully sugar and salt too. I have to tell you one thing, to be honest. When I first started with Dr. John McDougall diet, I wasn't perfect. I thought wine was vegan, for one thing. I didn't know there were animal products in it. And I thought going out to dinner was a couple glasses of wine and 4 bags of French fries. I thought that was a perfect. So I didn't lose the weight as fast as I should have in the beginning, because I still had the alcohol and I still had the French fries once in a while. I didn't do that too often, but I did do it enough to keep my weight very slowly coming off. And then, of course, I did cooked a lot of potatoes then without oil too. Then I became a Food for Life instructor with the wonderful Dr. Neal Barnard. I mean, this man is so incredible. He has Food for Life instructors like myself all over the world. And I'm the one in Sacramento. And with that certification, I'm able to teach cooking classes and nutrition classes, especially on cancer and diabetes. This makes me happy. I love helping people get well. I love helping people find out that the food is what's making the difference. Diabetes is reversible, type 2, but you can get off less, you can do less medication even on type 1. So when I had one lady who had diabetes for 27 years, and she was able to rid herself of diabetes after taking my course. And I just feel so good about that. So I teach at the local colleges around the area. So that's my Food for Life business card. And here's me teaching a Food for Life class from home. Sometimes I teach at home. Before COVID, I would go out to the colleges themselves in the classroom, especially Professor Engstrom's biology class. That's where I taught most of my classes. But sometimes I teach them from home. And this is me showing the food we made. And then we started, my late husband and I started BDOG, and it's also called B Planet in the rest of the world. My dear husband gave the name away. Somebody in England called and said they'd like to use our name BDOG. So he said, okay, sure. Guess what? Now we have to call ourselves B Planet outside the USA, but in the USA, we're still BDOG. And that's my baby boy, Bentley. He's afraid of everything. He was a street stray for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And we've had him for 5 years. So he's probably about 10 years old. And he won't go out the front door. He's so afraid to be outside after being a street stray. He doesn't like to walk anywhere. And if we do get him to walk a little bit sometimes, he'll just stop cold and that's it, no more. So please adopt and don't shop, please. Because those dogs need us so badly. That's my late husband, Dave Middlesworth. He was a vegan like me. And he helped start, we founded BDOG together. And that's my son, Darren, who took over BDOG for me after he passed away. If he hadn't done that, there would be no BDOG. So I'm so thankful he could take it over. And he's doing a great job too. So, and that's me with the BDOG. Sometimes I table for BDOG too. And then I started a Sacramento Animal Rights Group, which makes me really happy because I find all the vegans who are ethical. I mean, vegans are ethical. All the plant-based eaters or plant-exclusive eaters who are also ethical, meaning vegan. And they come and help me with trying to educate people about the horrible gulags of despair the animals are in right now. That's a quote from my friend Philip Woolen. He calls it gulags of despair. I just love that. And then I was voted PETA's sexiest vegan over 50 with Roger. Roger and I, he had the male version, I had the female. And that I was 70 when I got that, so that's good. This is my granddaughter. Unfortunately, she's not plant-based yet. I'm hoping she will one day. She's going to go to law school, and I like to make t-shirts too. This is vegan for the animals, for your health, and the planet. I like to do drawings, and this makes me feel good to be able to do some artwork. I like to do pictures. I'm going to give this picture to Deborah Clausen because she rescues bunnies. And then I like to do a little, truthful illustrations. It's done in Adobe Illustrator. I used to be a graphic designer for 25 years. So I'm well used to Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop, and I use it all the time. And there's your hamburger. And then I like to do ceramics too. This is a pig in distress. And I like to just do piggies sometimes. And this lady changed my life. I mean, I've been following her around for I don't know how many years. It feels like forever, but she cleaned up my act even more. I get rid of the sugar and the salt. Already had the oil out, but not only that, she's just been a mentor and an inspiring force of nature. She's unbelievable. Look at what she's doing to educate the world. I mean, she has so many followers and so much influence in this world. And so she's helping animals too, because she's getting them off the animals, which makes me so happy. So get her book Unprocessed. It's so good. And this is the way I think we should be with animals. This is the way it should be. We should teach our children to love animals, not eat them. There you go. So we want to see animals as someone and not something. That we kind of treat them as objects right now. So we want to eat the food that tastes so good and it's made from plants and it doesn't make us fat or sick. We got to eat whole foods as nature intended in their whole form. So we want to live your truth and find your purpose and don't worry about what other people think of you. And I'm always talking to people in the stores. I went to get my blood drawn, get my blood work done. Everybody who met me online had to hear I wear a vegan hat or a vegan shirt, and they said, "Oh, you're vegan." I said, "Yeah," and then I tell them all about it. And so I never shut up. You ask Jim, even people I talk to on the phone, getting information from Apple Computer. I have like 3 people from Apple last week who are going to email me about getting Chef AJ's book and going plant-based, because my father has diabetes. I said, well, you don't have to. And the conversation just goes on and on. They thought they were going to talk to me about my computer problem, and I find out we fix that, and then I tell them how they can fix their lives. And I do it all the time. I never shut up. When I'm buying potatoes in the grocery store, like 50 of them at a time, well, guess what? The clerk goes, "My, you get a lot of potatoes all the time, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, they help me get thin. They help me keep my weight down and keep my BMI correct." And they just go, "Huh? Potatoes? That's starch." I said, "Yes, starch is your energy." And then I tell them I'm 78 and teach aerobics, and don't you want to feel vibrant like me? They go, "Yeah." So it's kind of like that. So that's the whole point of my life is I get up in the morning and I can't wait to help educate people about what we're doing for our own bodies, for the animals, and for our planet. Now, my rock over here, Jim, he's my partner who I found after my husband passed. And he's like jumped right into this whole plant thing. He does the no oil for sure. He's not even drinking alcohol anymore. So I'm very proud of him. And he's doing so well. He looks great. He's 80. He just turned 82. Come over here, Jim, for a minute. He just turned 82. And we're taking salsa lessons together, right? For his birthday, we got salsa lessons. So we're going to keep doing that, right?
You bet.
Doesn't he look good? Yeah.
He looks great.
Yeah. And he lost like 45 pounds and his high blood pressure. So people do get better when they change their food to our whole food plants. And that's it in a nutshell.
Linda, I noticed in the picture where you were the sexiest vegan over 50, you seem a little bit heavier. And I'm curious, when did you lose all the extra weight? You looked great, but I mean,
you did that, AJ, when following you along and doing a cleaner diet, because you can still get fat on a vegan diet. I didn't do the oil, but what I did do is I found like oil-free vegan ice cream made from nuts, and you can gain a lot of weight in a hurry. I also started making a lot of the cookies I'm going to make for you today, but with chocolate chips and the higher fat content, or olives or guacamole, or the fake cheeses without oils. You can gain so much weight in a hurry. And I've done that off and on. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm done with fluctuating at all. I was, trying. I thought I was doing okay, but what I do is I don't eat a little bit when I eat. I can eat enormous amounts of food. Jim, my partner, he eats like, I don't know, 5 tablespoons of lentil soup and he's done. Or he takes 1 cookie and he goes, "Oh, that's good, thank you."
yeah,
I eat the whole plate. I eat the whole plate if it's there. I don't eat 1 cookie.
What's with these guys, huh?
What?
What's with these guys?
I know it. Just, I don't know, he just says discipline that I've never had when it comes to eating. I eat now till I'm full, and I can even eat quite regularly too. Whenever the slightest bit hungry, I'm eating. I think about eating the first moment I get up. I don't just kind of, Jim forgets to eat half the time. You know, he forgets to eat lunch and breakfast sometimes. And at 2 o'clock, I said, did you have breakfast yet? And he hasn't even thought about the food yet. He's busy working on what he's working on. He works on climate change and giving presentations for that, which I'm very proud of. But I don't know how he doesn't remember the food. I guess it's a form of security for me. I just really need to eat that food. But now I can eat so much food that is crazy. And I still don't gain the weight back now, because I'm not eating the high caloric density that AJ talks about all the time. It's so easy to do. And I can't have it in the house or it's there in my mouth, like you say. Absolutely. So anyway, that's it.
Okay, if you want to stop screen share, then we can see your gorgeous physique as well as you.
Okay.
And do you have any beauty secrets, Linda, other than just the fact that you eat clean, don't drink alcohol anymore, or oil, sugar, salt, and of course, do a lot of daily exercise? Do you have any other beauty secrets, hair, skin, makeup?
Well, I do use this product made from nuts called Elovi. I use that on my skin. So I think that's been a nice kind of way to treat my skin. And the other thing is, I think that's it really for as far as my outward appearance, I think. But we have to remember that people really struggle sometimes to get to the right way. I even did as a plant-based eater. I was eating the high caloric density, and it's because those foods are so addictive, right, AJ? I mean, once you eat those foods, like my friend has a gelato store here in town. She has oil-free mocha almond fudge gelato. Well, for a while, Jim and I were driving over there regularly to buy more pints, and I didn't eat half the pint. I eat the whole pint, and that's just the way I am. So I have to call her because we haven't been there for a long time. I have to tell her I can't do it. And these two look like Charles and Jim, skinny, and you. They're skinny, and they eat their own ice cream, and they look great. But I can't have that in the house. I didn't even buy it for Jim's birthday because I might want to eat it too. So instead, I made him healthy cookies, which I'm going to show you today. But yeah, it's not okay to have that food in my house. I can't handle it. And I've never been able to eat 1 or 2 or small portions of anything.
Well, you know what they say, if it's in your house, it's in your mouth.
Yeah. But the thing is, I take a plate like this, and I put 10, 11, 12 potatoes, the Yukon Gold usually. I put them on there. I put another plate on top, and I put it in the microwave for 30 minutes. I got the most delicious pile of potatoes, and I can eat that whole plate in a day, no problem. Yeah. So, but I can eat so many potatoes, and one trick I use when going out, if I'm going to be out and about and people are eating out with me and whatever, I take a pile of potatoes with me in my purse. And guess what? I eat 5 of them before I go in the restaurant. Right? I'm not even hungry when I get there. I'm not tempted at all. And I think another secret for me is I make my food so simply now. On birthdays and holidays, I will make Chef AJ's lasagna, things like that, which are a little richer. But normally, I eat so simply is that you actually lose the cravings for so much sauce and salt and all that when you eat simply. I've lost my cravings for that. So I can eat, 10 potatoes and some broccoli. This morning I don't usually do this, but I have like 4 potatoes and some broccoli and some red peppers. I microwaved the potatoes and I steamed up I had onions with there too. Onions, red pepper, and broccoli. And depending on what I have in my house, but I make that up and I eat a lot of it. That plus the potatoes, and I'm so full. I won't be hungry for quite a while. So I think eating simply is key for getting over addictions. I really do. I find that if I eat the high calorie food, I want it again really soon. I want to eat that over and over again because it's so good. But my tastes change when I eat simply, and it's just much easier.
Well, I hear that from a lot of people. So thank you.
You're welcome.
If there's any questions in the chat, everyone's saying you look beautiful. Lucy says, do you eat any nuts currently?
And that's, oh yeah, I have I try to keep it like a handful, like Dr. McDougall said, just, in the old days, the nuts came in the nut form with the shell and you'd have to break it open and then eat it. Right now, they come all packaged together with even sugar and everything, salt, and it's easy to eat handfuls of it. Like if I used to go by and grab my cashews out of the bin at my home here and just eat a handful, and then I think I'd like another one, and go get another handful. But now I'm being more disciplined. I eat like walnuts and maybe just a little bit every day, or a Brazil nut or something. But I don't grab handfuls of it anymore. So that's key. But I also do for special occasions, like I make the Parmesan cheese on the lasagna with walnuts or cashews with Benson's Table Tasty salt, no salt seasoning, and nutritional yeast. I make that Parmesan. I put that over Jim's pasta dishes, and he loves it. So it tastes like Parmesan, it really does. It's so good, so easy to make. And I just keep a jar of it in the refrigerator to put on things. But I don't use that too often because I could overeat on that as well. But Jim uses that for his pasta dishes mostly, and he loves it. So
that's great. Tell us about this health watch that you do every month. How can people join it? And about the fact that you're speaking, I believe, this Sunday at a Veg Fest.
Yeah, I'm speaking at the Veg Fest. And that'll be a different talk because I'm going to be talking about the animals and some about me, but mostly the animals and how we can help them. But the 30-day vegan health watch is something I coach people every month. I used to keep it to like 6 or 7 people each month, and they could write me at the end of the day and tell me what they've eaten after I give them some guidelines and some books to read and some movies to watch. And sometimes I have some great success and sometimes I have some failure, especially people coming off the standard American diet. Going right into my program can be a bit much sometimes, but I try to help people do that. And most of the time I'm successful, which makes me so happy. I have one lady that lost 85 pounds. Some people lose 20 pounds. Some people don't need to lose any weight at all. So they just want to know how to feel better. Maybe they have heart disease or something else, and so they would like to feel better and reverse their chronic diseases, which I've done with many people. So this is a wonderful feeling to be able to help people, as AJ does all the time. But it's amazing to see people make the transition. And then I have one guy, he cries every time he sees me, and this is from many years ago, because he had such terrible digestive problems. He doesn't have them anymore. And I had one lady who had MS, and she thinks I walk on water because she feels so much better. She didn't get rid of her disease, but she feels better and she has less medication. So it's so delightful and wonderful to see people. One lady called me the other day. I was a personal trainer in the gym, and I had her as my client, and I wasn't allowed to talk about it, but I told her about the plant diet. She and her husband were my clients. I told them all about eating plants. I could get fired for that, by the way. Well, anyway, they did it. They jumped right in. And they did it, and they lost the weight, and they felt great. And they're good friends of mine today. I haven't seen them for a while because of COVID and everything. But I got a phone call the other day. She goes, Linda. I said, hi, I haven't talked to you for a while. She said, yeah, I just want to thank you. I said, thank me for what? And she said, we're out here riding our bikes because of you. You didn't help us like, I don't know, 15 years ago. We wouldn't be riding our bikes. And she's closer to my age. They are. And they were just thanking me. I thought that was so wonderful to get that kind of gratitude from people you've helped. So yes, it's wonderful. And you can get me at veganmentor@gmail.com. I also have a website by the same name, Vegan Mentor, but just email me at veganmentor@gmail.com. That easy.
I want you to talk about the conference you have coming up called Go Sustainable Live. But before you do that, there is a question from a live viewer. I know that you do teach different aerobic classes, but are there particular exercises that you actually do?
You mean when I'm not in class?
Yeah, like yeah, or is your exercise you're teaching?
Well, before COVID, I had 10 classes a week, so that kept me completely covered. Now, because of COVID, I only have 2 back per week, which makes me really upset. But and those 2 classes, I teach a cardio class plus weight training. So I do all my weight training on those 2 days. And I don't know if you can see it, but I got muscles, baby. See those muscles? Yeah, I got muscles. And that's so 2 days a week is working for me for the weights. And it's not easy. I have very heavy weights, so it's really works. But as far as the cardio, I need more cardio. So I walk in the morning with Jim along the river, the American River. And I don't know, it's 2 or 3 miles, but we walk fast and sometimes I jog. So that helps a lot. But those are on every other day that I'm not teaching. So that's how I do it.
Great. Thanks. And what about this conference and how can people register? You should really tell me that. I can put it in the links.
Okay. I don't have the link with me, but if you Google, maybe I haven't even got it completely up yet, but Go Sustainable Live is October 30th. Now, and that's going to be with Dr. John McDougall, Dr. Richard Openlander, also a good friend of mine, who talks about food choices and sustainability, because if we don't change our food, we're not really going to have an earth. I think it's by 2030, we need to change everybody to a plant diet so we can stop not only the cruelty to animals, but we can sustain our earth. Right now we're using, Jim, is it 45% of our land is used for animal growing or growing food for animals, and we need that land to grow food for us and not grow animals. It's and also we give so many antibiotics to animals. Did you know that cows eat more fish than humans do? And they're vegetarians, and they don't eat nice fish. They eat the ground up stuff in the farms, the fish farms. It's full of bacteria, so they have to give the cows a lot of antibiotics and things like that. So when you're eating animal products, you're getting a lot more than you thought. And also, even when you eat your cows, you're eating the antibiotics as well. Pretty soon, we'll be antibiotic resistance as humans. So we need to get people off the animals, but we need to plant trees, and we need to stay off of cruise ships. Cruise ships kill the whales and kill the reef, and they kill so many animals just from the waste from the cruise ship. So that has nothing to do with the conference. I'm just talking about that. I hope they will bring that up though, because a lot of people, even my vegan buddies, don't realize what's happening with the death and destruction from cruise ships alone. So that's scary. But anyway, Go Sustainable Live will have Glenn Mercer as well, who wrote Food is Climate. And we'll have Dr. Sailesh Rao from Climate Healers. He started the whole climate business way before everybody else. And so I'm very excited about having those 4 speakers on October 30th from 9 to 3. So I'm hoping you can join me for that. And then I'm going to be speaking at the Sonoma Veg Fest on Sunday, the 25th. And that'll be, and I guess it's in Santa Rosa, but it's a big Veg Fest. So it's really nice to be there. So
Linda, there's another question about your exercises from a live viewer. Do you use a hang bar to do chin-ups or just hang to increase your bone density?
no, I have never done that, but I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. I just have never done that. And my bone density is really good. And it's because of two things. You have to get out in the sunshine at least 10 minutes, unless you're dark skinned, 20 minutes, to get your vitamin D. I think that's so important for your bone strength and for getting impact. So that's why I jog, and that's why I do my cardio, and that's why I do the weights, because you need the impact to make your bones strong. So I'm always telling my students to jump if you can. Please jump. If you can't, that's one thing, but if you can, please jump. And so I get them doing jumping jacks too when I can. And just the weight training alone is going to make your bones strong and give you the muscles you need to not be weak and to be strong in life. And also it makes you feel better, and it builds your immune system to work out. A lot of people don't realize that. You get a much better immune system. So it's real important for that reason too. But I haven't tried that, but it sounds great. You need to tell me more about it.
That's great. So what are you going to make for us today?
I'm making my favorite recipe that you can even eat for any time of the day because it's really clean. It's not as low calorie density as just eating oatmeal with your blueberries, but it's a good fast way. Like if I'm in a hurry and I need to go somewhere, I can, instead of eating breakfast, I can grab this cookie. And maybe I would grab 5 cookies because that's who I am. But I'm going to show you how to make a 3-ingredient thing. This will be the easiest recipe you've ever seen in your life. So, all right, I've already peeled 5 bananas. Can you get that down here? He's going to move that down. Yeah, 5 bananas. And I'm going to just mash them up with my fork. Like so. Take me a minute here. But yeah, I wish these had been a little riper because it's an even sweeter. But it's the fastest recipe you'll ever see in your life. And it's so good. But I keep my life simple, even my baking now. It's simple.
Do you eat? I know you eat simply, but do you want to take us through a day of what you eat? Like what, people love the what I eat in a day.
Yeah. Well, like this morning I had my potatoes and red bell peppers and broccoli and onions, but normally in the morning I eat a big bowl of oatmeal or groats. Sometimes I have the groats ready. Groats are the least processed form of oats.
And the best tasting, I might add.
Yeah, they are good. And you can make them in your Instant Pot really fast. So I do that with blueberries. And sometimes I have frozen blueberries and frozen mangoes I put on there. And sometimes a banana too, just to make it a little sweeter. And so I am so stuffed after that. But then all during the day, I'm always popping potatoes in my mouth. Whenever I'm a little bit hungry, I'll pop another potato and just grab one, eat one. And then I like them plain, and I never get tired of potatoes.
Do you have a favorite kind? And I know you used to put mustard on your potatoes. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I used to, but I haven't been. I've been just eating them plain. I get that Westbury mustard, the good one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't use that often. Mostly I'm just eating my potatoes. And sometimes I have, what's it called? Primal Kitchen ketchup. It's really clean and no sugar either. And so I use that sometimes, but mostly I'm just grabbing potatoes and eating them. And then for dinner, I take and sometimes we make lentil soup with potatoes and carrots and onions and stuff like that. Or sometimes I'll have some of Jim's pasta, but sometimes I have just plain beans and rice, real simple. So I'm going to mash this up here. sometimes I put in too much oatmeal and I'll have to add a little more banana, but can you see this? Yeah, I'm just mashing that baby up. Gosh, I hope I measured right. Looks like a lot of oatmeal.
You know, I know we talked about this. I put the recipe in the show notes, guys. Show notes are right below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on any other platform like Facebook or Twitter, you won't be able to see the show notes. So please watch on YouTube if you can. I can't imagine a cookie cooking for 42 minutes. I used to be a patient.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
do it all the time, so I know it works. But
but 42 minutes is like 3/4 of an hour. It blows my
I
mind.
know that's why it's not so great in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, to have your oven on that long.
You prefer white potatoes to sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes are almost too sweet to me.
I know
So I
what you
like
mean.
Hannah yams more, and I like the Yukon Gold. You know, the Yukon Gold are really good for you because they're yellow, and that means they have beta carotene. So they're good for you, just like the sweet potatoes. And I like the way they taste. They're just yummy. So I need my pan. Where did it go? With the silk pad on it. You know, the baking pan. Okay. Okay, he's got to go find my pan. Hold on. It was out. I had it here. There's a pan somewhere. Anyway, I'm making a cookie here.
That's one large cookie.
Well, I'm taking some of this off. But
You know, Linda, we've been talking all week to people that are aging gracefully about the fact that a lot of people say, oh, when somebody's your age and they look good, it's genetic. How was your family's genetics? Because I'd like to explain to people that it's your lifestyle that really is making a big difference in.
well, everybody died early because of their diet. So put it
The
here.
pan is right there.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, I got made a mess on here. So I have the cookie. Can you see it? Well, Jim's gonna
Got to lift it up, or either lift your up or the camera down.
can you see it?
Yep.
There's a little cookie there. I'm going to put it right here on my silk pat. I don't have to use parchment paper because I use a silk pat, which is you don't have to use oil. You can just put your food right on it and it won't stick.
And you don't have to keep reusing parchment paper, so it's even more
You
environmental.
don't have to buy it. Yeah. So I bought some, it's called Bio Nature fruit spread, and it's bilberry. It's dark bilberry, yummy. And I'm going to put a thumbprint right on my cookie, like so. And that, after I get the whole sheet filled up, that'll go in the oven for 42 minutes. And then when I'm done, I sure made a mess here. Hold on. Then when I'm done, oh, but I want to tell you something first. So Jim has this big sweet tooth. So those weren't quite sweet enough for him. They're perfect for me. So for him, I took a cup of dates and I poured 2 cups of boiling hot water over them in my Vitamix. And then I just made a date paste right there. And I added that to the oatmeal. And then to make it even more fun, I used organic cocoa powder and added like 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And so I have 2 different cookies, one the regular recipe you have, and one from my Mr. Sweet Tooth over here, who has to have it really sweet. Well, dates are good for you too. So anyway, the ones on the top are the already baked of the what recipe I just showed you. That's 42 minutes in the oven.
I think it's because you're making them larger. That's probably why the baking time's higher.
Yeah. And then I have the ones I added the dates to, and I have apricot jam on there. And so that jam is really good. There's nothing harmful in there. No added sugar or anything. And they are delicious.
They look like a bakery cookie. They almost look like a Linzer tort.
Yeah, no, they are so good. Yeah, I could eat those. I have to be careful that I don't eat too many of those because I can overeat those too.
Yeah.
But
So,
I'm
Linda,
trying to be disciplined about
Sherry
that.
wants to know, what do you do for your core? Do you do any core exercises?
Oh yeah, when I do my gym class, you should see what I do for them. We do all these ab workouts. You know, we do the cross on our back like this and straight legs out and in. and then we also, we do the, just plain sit-ups, you know, and then we do another one where we are sitting on our bench. We're holding our hands out here and we're leaning back. First we do singles, but we hold when we're back. I can't do it standing up, but we hold and then come up. And then later we do 1, 2, 3, hold, and then come up. So we have to hold our abs in and breathe. So inhale back and exhale forward, but we do a pile of those. And then of course, I do some push-ups with them too every time on our benches, and they can do it on their knees or their hands. I use the hands on the benches and go for it like that. So, but yeah, those are the main things we do, but it really works because I do a lot of them, and they want to stop by the time we're done. So do I, because it's not that easy to do that many. So yeah, that works for me, works for my class, and makes you feel so good when your core is strong. Now we do that.
Yeah. Oh, here's a Lucy wants to know, the woman that you worked with that had MS, how long did it take her to see benefits?
That I did for what?
You said you worked with somebody that had MS?
Oh yeah, right away. It was a matter of weeks, like 3-4 weeks. And she said, Linda, I've never felt this good. So I was so pleased that I could help her somehow. I wasn't sure, you know, because MS is a really difficult one. But yeah, no, she felt so much better. It was like 3 or 4 weeks. And eating the way nature intended us to, no matter what you have, helps you feel better. So, and I had cancer, remember? So I don't have it anymore. And I would have died at least 30 years ago, because unfortunately I met Dr. McDougall 1 week too late. Right before the week before I met Dr. John McDougall, not in person, just know about him. I had done 1 radiation because I was supposed to do radiation and chemo and the whole series. And 1 week later, I found McDougall, and they said, you got to come back for your radiation. I said, nope. And I said, well, yeah, you have to do chemo too. I said, nope, I'm going to try this. And I did. And it never came back. Unfortunately, the 1 radiation did destroy some of my thyroid. So I have to take thyroid medication thanks to that one time. If I had met him 1 week earlier, I would be free of everything and never take medication. And that's, I know for sure, because other people have reversed their cancer. Not always can you reverse cancer. I even have a good friend who died of cancer eating like meat, because you can get rare forms of cancer that the food you can't even help. So it's a shame. I have a dear friend who just died recently at 63. She was like a good friend, and she had a very rare form of cancer. Maybe because she had our diet. She was up cooking like the week before she died, but she was a wonderful lady. But I'm saying you reduce your risk of cancer at least by 70%. And cancer kills a lot of people, but our #1 killer, AJ, is heart disease. And if you don't want to die of that, you have to change your food to the whole plant exclusive, oil-free, hopefully salt and sugar-free too, as nature intended it to be. And then, yeah.
And Nikki says, if you wanted to make smaller cookies, what do you think the cook time would be? 15, 20 maybe?
I would try 30 probably. I think for some reason, with all the moisture from the banana in there, it takes a while to cook those oats up. And they didn't burn at all. They're just perfect. So
they look great. I've never even thought about making one that big. It's fantastic. Hey, Linda, the person that first turned you on to a vegan diet, are you still in touch with that person?
yeah, I haven't been for the last 7 years, but 7 years ago I did. She moved, I moved away. She lives, I don't know, she moved back to Davis. I used to live in Davis, and then she moved to Sacramento when I did, and then she moved back to Davis, so I don't see her or talk to her, but I was just thinking about her the other day. I need to thank her again. She saved my life because we were just walking our dogs around the block and I was complaining about the fat I couldn't get rid of, about the heart disease, about the cancer I had. And I didn't feel that good. Even though I was an aerobic instructor, I didn't feel that good. And so if she hadn't told me both about the health from Dr. McDougall, I would never have met him or found out about him. And then she told me about the animals. And there was nothing more for me to do in life except those two things, health and the animals and the environment. That's my purpose. And, after my husband died, I think it's because I had a purpose before he died that I could keep going after he died. I mean, I think about him every day. It's not easy, but that was 8 years ago. But I had this purpose, a giant purpose of helping other people, of trying to save animals. In fact, we rescued 2 chickens once, and I was arrested once for doing animal rights. I was just holding a sign for the Animal Bill of Rights, and I got arrested and spent the jail overnight with 19 people during COVID. Yeah, that's when I was 76. So I don't stop working for the animals. We just finished an animal rights protest against horse carriages in Old Town Sacramento. They have to go out in extreme heat with motorcycles and cars going by them and carry these very heavy people, by the way, on these horse carriages all day long. And some of them died. One just died in New York. It is so horrible what we do. Animals are not here for us to use, to wear, or to eat, or to use for entertainment. They're here to be their own lives and family and getting the least harm done to them as possible and to be safe. Just like we require safety, they do too. They need it. We need it. And so that's my purpose. My purpose is so strong. I think that helps me get up and want to go every day, because I have some friends right now who are vegan, by the way, who said, I said, listen, my friend, you should stop the alcohol. It causes cancer, for one. It's not vegan, most of it. Most of the wine is not vegan. And he said, oh, Linda, I don't care if I die tomorrow. Oh, my goodness, she doesn't have a purpose. And I thought, oh, well, how can I help? I've been trying to help her for a while, but she has some wonderful talents I won't tell you about because I don't want you to know who she is. But she has some wonderful talents, and she should be so proud of that. But she doesn't really care about getting up every day. She said, I could die tomorrow and be fine. And I thought that's very sad. I'm hoping I can reach her and help her. But there are people, the people who have this joy in life, because a lot of bad stuff happens. AJ knows and Charles knows. I seem to have crisis after crisis of different things happening, with my computer or with my phone or, somebody frauding me or something's always happening to me. I don't know how I bring that on, but I can get through it. You know why? I have a purpose and I have a reason for being here. And I want animals to get out of the cruelty, gulags of despair. And I want people to feel good like I do. I want them to feel vibrant and have lots of energy like I have. I think that is key. And then it's nice when you have a nice partner like I do. That's very lucky. Not everybody has that. I feel very fortunate to have that too.
Yes, you really are lucky. So we have a nice comment. I just saw it a minute ago from Renee. Linda, you're beautiful. Thanks for saving animals. She wanted to know more specifically what kind of cancer you had. Were you seeing doctors regularly?
Well, first of all, let's go back before that cancer. I had a big lump about the size of a golf ball in my breast. And also I was a runner, so I was running marathons. But when I would run, my breast would hurt so much. Now I know it's from the excess estrogen from eating animal products that causes that. In fact, it causes early puberty in little girls. And the longer you have your menstrual cycle, the greater your chances for cancer are, period. Fortunately, the big lump that doctor took out was not cancer yet. It could have turned into it, but and he did a botch-up job on it too, by the way. I didn't like him. I told him, I said, is it because of my food that I have this lump? And he said, no, your diet's fine. I told him I eat chicken and fish and hamburgers and cheese and ice cream and all that. And he said, no, it's fine. So then I go along and I get thyroid cancer, which is like an autoimmune disease. And it's also from eating animal products. So I had thyroid cancer, and that doctor said, you have to go into radiation right away. And so then 1 week later, I knew about John McDougall. I didn't even meet the man, and I fell for him. And he and Mary have saved my life, basically.
Oh, that's wonderful. He
So
really,
there are more parts of that question. I don't know.
no, he really adores you. A question from Rita. How can one improve a recovery time after an hour of intensive exercise with a personal trainer? She is 71 years old. She trains 2 days with a trainer and 2 days on her own.
What was the first part question of that?
How do you improve recovery time after an hour of intensive exercise with a personal trainer?
I'm not sure what she means by that, but I do know that when you're doing workout, depending on what she's doing, is it cardio? Is it weights? What is it?
If you're still there, please let us know. But in general, can you tell people how to improve recovery times? Do you have any tips?
Well, recovery time shouldn't be too bad if you eat the way we do, but I don't even worry about recovery time. I just feel so good after I do that. But you want to be sure if you are doing weights, like if you're doing weights, say 2 or 3 times a week, make sure they're not consecutive days, because your muscles have to repair in between. Otherwise, you're just negating what you did. So if I do biceps on Monday and then biceps again on Tuesday, you didn't allow the repair to happen. And so you've got to do, or you can do upper body on Monday and lower body on Tuesday. You can do it that way. I like to get the whole body done when I do it. So on Tuesday and Thursday, when I teach my class, we get the whole body done. And that's perfect for me. 3 days would be even more optimal. But given my busy lifestyle, I'm keeping it to 2 right now. But really, I don't have any trouble recovering at all. I don't know what you mean by recovery. Are you really tired? Is it, are you eating a whole food plant diet? Because really just eating my potatoes after I have lots of energy right away. It's not that bad to recover. If you can explain a little bit more what your concern is, are you not able to function somehow like you want to?
Yeah. Angela, who's also a trainer, is saying she might be overtraining. Oh, she's saying weights and whole body workout. And yes, she is whole food plant-based.
So she does weights with it. Well, is she feeling tired after? What's happening?
Do you ever do personal training for people if they want?
I used to do personal training on an individual basis, but I just simply don't have time when I'm saving so many animals. So I had to cut that out.
That's okay. Well, you are very busy between being an advocate and getting arrested and doing stand-up comedy, which Diane is mentioning. You were very funny in the shows, Linda. You just have a knack for that.
Really? Oh gosh.
You
I wish
really
I could be funny like you.
no, you were absolutely
And Charles
hilarious.
is funny too. My
Yeah,
God,
people don't know that about him. He's the strong silent type. Do you still do the PCRM cooking classes? You do them at Zest Kitchen, don't you?
I did do one recently. Unfortunately, the computer didn't work with the projector I was borrowing from dear Ruben. But so I'm going to redo that one at Zest Kitchen. But mostly I do them at the local junior colleges around town, like Sierra College, American River College. And we have this professor named Dr. Engstrom who teaches biology there. And she likes to have me, before COVID, I would go to her class and teach the whole thing and even make a cooking demonstration in class. But now after COVID, we're doing everything on Zoom. So I have one coming up in October with her. Where they're going to do cancer this time. Usually we do diabetes, but we're going to do cancer this time. And so it's Dr. Neal Barnard's Surviving Cancer class. And the good thing is you get to hear a video during the class of Dr. Barnard. He talks to you about introduction to diabetes or whatever we're talking about, and he does such a good job of it. It's just like perfect. And so he talks, I talk, and because I have that certification, it gave me confidence to talk about nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, but taking the course and being certified with Dr. Neal Barnard gave me the confidence to know what I'm reading in his books is true, and I can state those facts, which is really, really good, because I can say that, you know, which things actually cause heart disease and give you some numbers. And I can tell you that diabetes is not caused from sugar. It has nothing to do with sugar.
I know, it's so funny. I posted a photo on my Facebook page and the lady said, well, does it have carbs? And I said, well, yeah. I said, that's all I eat is carbs. And they still believe, especially people that are overweight with diabetes, that carbs are the enemy, not oil, not fat.
Yeah, they have no idea. They all think sugar is the horrible thing and that they should be having protein. Well, protein isn't all the plants, so that's never a fear. But have you ever heard of the disease kwashiorkor?
Well, not really. Nobody has it except for people that are starving.
Yeah, if you're in like sub-Saharan Africa and they have no food at all, you might get it. But we don't hear about that in this country or even in Europe or Asia because we have food. And we don't get kwashiorkor, but everybody's worried about the protein. And you know, all the commercials on TV say, drink this drink, it's got more protein than that drink over there. This one you need more. And the whole protein myth is just really ridiculous. Because people are afraid of potatoes and they're afraid of the things that help.
If they knew how many potatoes we ate together, it's hilarious.
I know, I ate so many. I think I can outdo you though.
I think you can with white potatoes for sure.
Yeah.
Linda Angela is saying you truly are a vegan mentor because that's what you call your business and your website. She wants to be like you when you grow up. It's true that saying you're not getting older, you're getting better. And people are saying, are you vegan mentor in the chat? Yes. When Linda's not on the show, she, like you, is in the Zoom watching the shows. They appreciate.
Oh yeah, I don't miss AJ's show. No.
So here's a great question, because I know you struggle with this. Families who are not on board with veganism, how do you deal with that?
Well, I'm trying to be better, but I started off doing it the wrong way. I got a call the other day from one of the ladies I knew years ago. She called me because she said, Linda, I babysit for my family. My grandchild is 2 years old. And I went over there and they were serving bacon and eggs to my grandchild. And I didn't eat any. And my granddaughter said, Grandma, why aren't you eating the bacon? And I said, she said, honey, Grandma doesn't eat animals. Well, her daughter-in-law is not speaking to her now. She said, you have to respect the way we eat in our house. And she's the one doing the babysitting, by the way. So I understand. So people ask me that question a lot, how to help them. I failed with 2 of my children and their families. I failed completely. I did it wrong. I went about saying, after I found out 34 years ago that eating this way could help save my life and the animals on the earth, I thought I could just tell my family about that. And they would go, oh yeah, I didn't know that, Mom. I'll do that too. It didn't work out that way at all. My one boy, the boy that runs the dog, he was always very interested in nutrition and health. He's a personal trainer himself, and he still is. And he got it right away. And he understood about the animals. Now the other 2 like animals, like the dogs they have, but they couldn't get past the dogs. So, and they said, Mom, just shut up about that, please. We don't want to hear one more word about it. And I have both my families, I am not allowed to talk about. I'm not allowed to roll my eyes at the family barbecue of cheeseburgers and sausages. I'm not allowed to say a word. And it's kind of an emotional standoff between those 2 families and myself because of they think all I care about is veganism. And I don't care about them. I care about them. I just can't talk to them about it. Now, I heard from Dr. Angela Crawford on the We Did Health campaign. She's a part of that. She's a psychologist, and she explained that we really have to make it about us. I did it wrong, so I already ruined my chances. This was 34 years ago, and it's still that way. So I have to just be quiet altogether now with them. But what I do say, if they say, "How are you, Mom?" I said, "Well, I'm feeling really good. I lost some weight and I feel great." But I don't say anything else about my food or anything. So anyway, if you're in that situation, don't ruin it ahead of time like I did. What you need to do is just talk about yourself only. Like if they say, "How are you, Mom or Dad?" "Oh, wow, I got these great cholesterol numbers back," or "My heart disease is gone. My diabetes is gone." Tell them something positive about your friend or what happened to them, but don't ask or tell them anything. They have to come to you and ask you when they're ready. I so want to call up the two families who don't get it yet, who are pre-vegans. I want to call them both up and have a powwow and say, "Let's sit down. I want you to hear this. You have to respect my way of life, and here's why I can't do that." Dr. Angela Crawford talked me right out of that one. So that's all I know. That's all I can tell you. I hope you didn't ruin it already with your contacts and family, because I have lost a few friends too by talking about this too much.
That's 'cause you're evangelical.
Yeah, I'm evangelical. I do with people I don't know now, like in grocery stores, Or the other day when I was getting my lab work done, the lady saw my vegan hat. She said, "Oh, you're vegan." That's why I wear something vegan, because people do ask me about it sometimes. And then that's my opening. And now she's going to take my diabetes class.
Well, yeah,
So-
I remember when you were 70, didn't I get you a t-shirt that said, "This is what 70 looks like when you're vegan"? I'm going to have to
And guess who gave me that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get you
Okay.
one in a couple years. This is what 80 looks like when you're vegan. Well, you're the best walking billboard for veganism, really, that I've seen. Lynn is commenting that her partner's not vegan or vegetarian, and it's difficult sometimes. We try to compromise as much as possible because we've been together 28 years. That's got to be hard for people, especially people that are doing it for ethical reasons, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, I find that people who are doing it for ethical reasons, number one, they do it forever, because you can't change once you do it for ethical reasons. If you're just doing it for your health and what you look like, that's fine. You're still helping animals, but it's easier to fall off the wagon, and especially easier if you have family members. I even have a long-term lady I've been coaching for, 10 years, and she comes back to me every once in a while and needs my coaching again, because her whole family is not vegan, and she has to make cookies for her son, and she has to do this and that. And I said, well, you're just going to have extra discipline there, because it is so hard when that tempting food is around you. But even if you're not eating it and you have to suffer through their eating it, I frankly, myself personally, like Jim, he wanted to date me, and I said, I will only go out with vegan. Well, he went vegan on the spot, but not everybody's going to do that. And I do have friends who have to suffer through it with their family members. And I frankly don't know how they do it, because I think that would be so difficult as an ethical vegan to watch them eat that way. But you have to just be strong and be disciplined for yourself and know you're doing it what's right for you. You have to always say your truth, be your truth. If you don't do your truth, you're not who you are. You need to be yourself, but tell your truth. I think we're not alive if we don't tell the truth. You have to do it in a nice way. And with your family, if it's not you can't say too much about the animals, but you can say, I feel great. Look what happened to me. Or they just notice what happened to you. So
Do you know your family, other than your one son, isn't vegan? Do they notice that you look better and feel better than most people your age? Do they ever comment on how good you look? Or
no, because they're afraid I might talk about it.
Yeah.
They're afraid I might say something back. Yeah, well, I've been vegan now for a while and I'm following a low calorie density diet too. Now, thanks to Chef AJ.
Well, you remind me of that old joke. How do you know if somebody's vegan? Don't worry, we'll tell you.
Yeah. And that other joke is, listen, if you have too many friends bothering you, just tell them you're vegan.
Exactly. Well, Linda, you are just such not only a dear friend, but you really are doing so much to help animals. You and JP are like really my heroes, and people like you, because you really are on the front lines going to protest, because I'm just too sensitive to do that. So I appreciate the work you do in the world and in the vegan world, and you look amazing. What can I tell you? And like that, they say you're not getting older, you're getting better. And Jim is a lucky guy. Let me tell you.
Thank you. Well, you're a big influence on me, girl. So thank you for helping save my life as well. And the rest of the world that you're influencing.
I just want to tell one funny story, because I'm pretty sure your kids aren't going to watch this. Maybe Darren, but not the other two. So guys, when I wrote my first book on process, the 10th anniversary edition just came out, but the first book came out February 2nd, 2011. And Linda always supports people. Like, she bought like 10 copies with her own money, and she gave them as gifts to her children, to her friends, to her clients. A couple of years later, I was at the True North Health Center, and there was a patient there that wanted me to sign her book, and it was unprocessed. And I didn't realize that, Amazon and other places you could buy used books, because it looked perfect. It looked absolutely perfect, unread, not a stain. And I opened it up to the page where you're supposed to sign it. And it was the book that I signed to your son, Colin, because I specifically said, dear Colin, listen to your mother, Linda, and go vegan, which means he literally never opened the book before he sold it.
No. Yeah. In fact, at a festival, we had a Sacramento vegan food festival here, and I had a booth, and I was also a speaker. Well, you were too. And my son came by my booth because I asked him. He brought the two kids with him, who are like 11 and 9. And so here I'm in my booth. And in my booth, I have a lot of PCRM, Resistance Committee for Responsible Medicine booklets, and healthy nutrition for kids with some great recipes and that kind of thing all over the table, unprocessed from somebody. And then I said, this would be a great recipes in here for the kids. The nutrition for kids, the little booklet about that big. And I handed it to him, and he tossed it back on the table. He wouldn't take it home.
Yeah. It's hard when the ones we love, especially, don't want to even get this information. So we'll have you on for your 80th birthday. It'll just be a couple of years. You have any plans for your 80th?
Yeah. To be here eating my great food with my great partner and my 2 doggies. Yeah,
You'll be there.
I have a great life just being at home. I don't need to go anywhere, especially don't go on a cruise ship, folks. So harmful to the animals. Okay?
I know. And I apologize. I did not know the information until I learned it from what, I can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Now that I know about cruises, I can't really be going on them and supporting them anymore. Thanks to you. Thanks for ruining it for everyone.
I know. I think I've ruined it for a lot of people now.
Yeah. Well, talk to Dr. Barnard and Dr. Greger and Dr. Clapper. They're going on.
I'm on that. I'm on it, baby. I'm getting there.
Absolutely. Well, maybe I should get you a shirt in the interim. 78 and feeling great. ... I'm vegan.
No, that's good. I'm good, honey. I thank you so much for what you do, and the influence you're making in the world is just amazing. I'm talking about you when I go to Sonoma Veg Fest.
Right. Well, they didn't invite me. Otherwise I would have gone, because we could have driven together, but you are the queen, at least in Sacramento, of veganism. 5,500 people. Guys, join her meetup group. I have a much, much smaller one, but join Linda. She posts everything, and don't forget to sign up for her free Go Sustainable Live event. She'll get me that information. I'll put it in the show notes. You don't want to miss Dr. John McDougall, that's for sure. Well, Linda, always great. I think I'm spending more time with you here on Zoom than we have in person since I moved to
I know.
I guess I'll have to have you on more often so I can see you.
Okay, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
All right, well, enjoy those cookies, Jim. Thanks for your help. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Now, tomorrow for day 4 of Longevity Week, we have another beauty, Tracy McCorder. She wrote a book called By Any Greens Necessary, but there is a bonus show in just a couple of hours today with Dr. Stuart Shipko, and you won't want